Western Union is teaming up with Solana to offer stablecoins, and this might have put the XRP community into shambles, but more on that in a second. Welcome to Cryptocurrents, the weekly podcast of people working in crypto talking about everything you need to know in crypto, technology, and blockchain. Think of us like the perfect pack of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. We're bringing you nothing but blue eyes, white dragons, and we're not springing any trap cards on you. I'm your host, Vince, and today I'm joined by our resident degen from the Encrypt team, Kale.
Dark Magician Kale, what's up?
And Yo from MyEtherWallet.
Hello, I'm more of a red eyes black dragon myself.
Hell yeah.
I do both of you would appreciate that intro. And somewhere Katya is like shaking her fist at the ceiling. Well, we'll talk about Western Union and Solana in a bit and give the XRP the fair shake. I just like to lead with the thing that'll put them in shambles. But let's start things off by talking about TradFi stuff. So JP Morgan has announced that they're going to allow ETH and Bitcoin as collateral for loans. Kale, talk to me about this.
Yeah, so I like the concept, especially for users. You know, like that's ultimately what I want to see is a protocol where just like everyday users like me, like I'm not an institution, you know, but like if I want to give out my Bitcoin or my Ethereum as collateral and then get USDC back, I mean, I would love to be able to do that. And I think there are protocols that already exist that allow users to do that.
I think it's like Morpheus right now in Coinbase is kind of the big one.
Yeah,
Aave was one before too.
I was going to say, I know Aave exists. But yeah, so like I love that whole concept. So this is that for institutions specifically. And yeah, like, I don't know, like for me, the biggest thing that stands out is that they're doing it with a third party custodian, which in my opinion, I feel like should just be Aave or some type of like dApp on Ethereum like that. Whoever the third party custodian is like gonna greatly affect my opinion on it, you know.
And they haven't announced who the third party.
I don't know. They might have, but I don't know. I definitely missed it if they did.
Yeah.
But like that's my only concern is like who's the custodian?
I mean, knowing JP Morgan, it's probably a buddy friend of theirs that is then going to build something for them for custody this rather. Is this interesting for institutional investors? Is this kind of like interesting for the space, or is this just kind of like ho-hum, top level people just paying lip service? What do you think?
I mean, a little bit of both, honestly. I do think that like it is pushing us forward in an overall net positive way. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, like I said, like for the end users, most users like you and I, it's like, I don't know, this doesn't really change how we are transacting on chain. So yeah, like it's probably, it's a little bit of both. It's just like the rich guys getting their fingers in the crypto pie and trying stuff out. But yeah, it is cool to see the progress nonetheless.
Yeah. Yell, talk to me about this.
Yeah. When I was thinking about it, my main concern was like, how would that handle, for example, because you know how like when gold is like the collateral, it's like it has an inherent value. Whereas what happens when Bitcoin drops and your loan was like one whole Bitcoin, right? Like an amount of like what is it now? Like 150 or something. And then the backing currency of it drops down. What would happen then? You know?
Yeah.
It's also funny how they kind of like switch up on crypto too. Like, you know, people have been like, oh, it's just a pet rock, or like there's no inherent value to it. And now they're like, we can use it for loan collaterals. It's like, wait, what? Where'd that come from? You know? Like, oh, they finally figured out how to get some slice of it, basically. But yeah, that my main concern was that. And the other thing was like, I mean, this is an ongoing trend with crypto, right? More money coming into it means more like it becomes more of what it goes away further from what it was used to be, you know? When I don't know how far you guys go back with crypto, but like starting in 2018, like it was, you know, there's this cool thing, but now it's about more like this,
Number
more
go
making
up.
money in a sense. Yeah, number go up is more important than other things. But you know, aside from that, also obviously like with centralized companies coming into it, centralization is a concern. But I guess we're in the cusp of seeing the effects of it, right?
So you've been at MyEtherWallet for a long time. Are you a purist in that regard? Are you like a big like decentralization maxi? Because it sounds like you're like reminiscent for the good old days.
I'm kind of both. I was very hyped up on what the tech was, right? Like smart
Mhm.
contracts and turning like using it in real life. And in a sense, this is one of them. It's just that like it's being handled by bigger corporations instead of like the crypto people that we're used to seeing. But I guess it's also like what, almost 10 years ago. So it also makes sense for them to it's basically, I'm kind of like torn because it's good for big corporations to actually embrace the tech too, because like that was the goal, right? But now it's fully um replacing what crypto was too. So it's kind of like both. But
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I'm in 100% same boat. It's bittersweet, because
Yeah.
it's like I joined crypto because it felt like an alternative system. It's like we don't
Exactly.
have to participate in TradFi. We can like build our own thing over here. But then now it's like TradFi is becoming so intertwined into crypto that it's like, I don't know, man. I'm very torn because half of me is like, yeah, of course, this was inevitable. But the other half of me is like, we're losing the plot here. Like,
Yeah.
come on. So, yeah.
For me, I really like this on paper, right? Because we're like,
Mhm.
ooh, institutional investors and the access to these financial vehicles will eventually trickle down to us retail people and just the normies of the world. My problem is JP Morgan Chase couldn't develop their way out of a wet paper bag. They can't even run a website.
A great point.
They are one of the worst when it comes to like all of the big banks and all of the big, financial institutions. They are hands down the worst technology company of them all. So I worry that like this could lead to something that's like, oh, oops, like Yell said, what happens when Bitcoin drops and everyone gets liquidated and there's problems with loans? I could see that happening, and JP Morgan be like, whoopsie daisy.
Yeah, 100%.
Because they also have a track record of, the weeks after the first Black Friday before the Great Depression, JP Morgan walked down onto the floor of the stock exchange and said, I will buy $20 million in stock to try and like reinforce confidence. And then it just made the market tank even further.
Damn.
I
Yeah,
know.
I was gonna say this is just like the beginning of 2008 on chain, but
I
like
was,
you took it way back, dude. Like,
about to mention it. I was like, this is from 2008.
yeah, for real.
Let's
But
get Margot Robbie in a bathtub to explain it to us. Right. Next week on cryptocurrency, we'll make Katya do it. Don't tell her. So let's kind of like go back to the heart of crypto, right? And let's talk about this new ledger feature where they're going to start charging $10 per multi-sig swap. Kale, I know you have a bunch of opinions on this. Lay them on me.
yeah, this is so dumb, dude. Like the more time goes on, the more Ledger is losing me. And I know there's like a lot of people that feel the same way as I do. Because so basically what happened recently was Ledger released a UI for basically like using multisig wallet. If you want to use a multisig wallet with Ledger, like they released a UI and you can go through their app and do the whole multisig process. But every transaction costs $10 if you're going to use the multisig thing. So I don't know, like on first glance, the UI is like, it's cool. It's like, okay, cool. Ledger's like expanding their operations. They're making it easier to use multisig. But then you read about the fees, and it's just like such a huge turnoff. And for me, that was like kind of, I mean, I don't know for sure, but it feels like this very well may be my last straw with Ledger. Because I've used Ledger a lot in the past, and the way they have everything set up is like they kind of try to funnel the users into their Ledger Live app. So like even if you have like their hardware wallet and you connect it to Mu wallet or you connect it to whatever wallet, like a lot of times to send or transact using the Ledger, like they try to funnel you into Ledger Live, which is like the complete opposite of cypherpunk values. It's like you're supposed to share with everybody, not like get everyone into one funnel. Also, as time goes on, they're like becoming less and less open source. So for me, it just feels like the corporate tentacles are like slowly taking over Ledger, and they're losing sight of like their cypherpunk roots, which is concerning. So yeah, like I don't know, every time a new piece of news comes out where Ledger is like, oh, well, now we're doing this, and like remember a couple years ago, like it leaked that Ledger has access to like some backdoor thing.
Yeah, they're like advanced recovery thing. I seem to
Yeah.
recall. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they like tried to take it back. They're like, "Oh, actually, no. Like, it's not that bad, guys. We promise." So yeah, I don't know, man. Like at this point, it just feels like Ledger is becoming like an evil corporation. So I'm like, I don't know about these guys anymore.
I
So
mean,
yeah,
as
I'm
as
really
the
not a
corporate
fan of the
one on here,
$10
I love corporate. So, but Yell, you are a open source developer and have been so for a long time. What are your opinions on this? Is Kale up in the night on that, or?
It's kind of. So my thing with just part of the announcement, right? It is kind of it's contradicting to what they, as Kale said, like what they used to stand for, and then now like, oh, we're gonna charge fees, but like on face value. But the actual feature that they're saying they're charging for is a lot less targeted to individuals in reality. I'm hoping I'm not being dismissive about it. It's
No.
basically like, it's called it's clear signing, if I remember correctly, right? And basically what that means is that like you get the information about what you're signing, right? Some dApps already do this in essence of like, oh, you're sending an approval instead of like just seeing hexes on your device, right? Like for example, on Mu, certain transactions we kind of know about what they are, and so we tell the user these are these transactions. And so what I'm trying to get at is that like, it's one, you don't really need to use their dApp to do this. Multi-sig contracts have existed for a long while now. The other thing is that like, again, certain dApps already clarify what you're signing. And so I get what Kelly's saying, like they are funneling people to like Ledger Live or Ledger Wallet or whatever they're calling it now. But the options are still there. So I don't think they're necessarily targeting the people, the individuals, the smaller people, right? I think this is more of like for institutions basically, right? Given multi-sig is used by institutions in general. So it's like, like it's going to be part of the business cost of doing things. Plus their fee admittedly is kind of steep, but I also get like this ran into their business cost of developing the same thing. So it's like kind of trying to get back money for a product is, it kind of, I can see both sides essentially.
Yeah, and for me, like I don't mind charging for services. I think that that's kind of important. I think that that's why AI is like rampant and just slop filled right now, is because any jagoff with a browser can be like, do some AI thing, and AI is like, yeah, here you go for free. And I think crypto is much the same, right? Anyone can spin up a coin completely for free. There's not any sort of like development costs. There's not a real cost of it. And it kind of has gotten out of control because if people can, they will, especially when they can pull money out of thin air. But no, go ahead.
So I was just going to add on to it. Like, that's why I kind of see why, because like, obviously they have to pay for auditing certain transactions, certain things that happen in the back end of like transactions in any network, right? Like they have to be able to parse that and verify that. So I'm assuming if that is the actual thing they're doing, that will cost money, right? So
for sure.
Yeah, good points.
Yeah. I always like feel a little bit better about a service when I have to like pay just something. I don't know. I liked Ethereum better when gas prices were high. I feel like we saw, more interesting things being developed. And now that it's low, and that's why people went to Solana and just are like, what are we building on Solana? Nothing.
Dude, that's an interesting angle, but yeah, no, you're kind of right. Like things being expensive for sure changes the vibe.
100%. I mean,
it makes you think that it's even truthfully or not, it makes you think like it's worth what you're paying for.
Like higher quality.
Yeah.
And the whole thing about like random people just making coins for free. Like 100%.
You put your money where your mouth is. And I think that kind of like, as much as I am for a free open economy, I do like in traditional finance, there are rules to be listed on stock exchanges. And with crypto, we don't necessarily have those rules to spin up a coin. Coinbase just goes, yeah, we'll add you, sure, we'll delist
Yeah.
you, Cardano, or whatever. Like,
Oh,
you know,
Cardano.
yeah, Cardano. had to throw that in there because that made me laugh. So speaking of delisting, so as we are recording this on 10/29, Amazon AWS is having yet another outage, and I made the joke to our team that one of the 30,000 employees that got let go probably just kicked a cable on their way out. So this is kind of zooming out to the more tech aspect of obviously we all work in tech at the core of it. And this Amazon layoff is in part under the guise of like, oh, we're getting rid of all of the extra dead weight from hiring during COVID, but also maybe AI is taking away some of these jobs. But there's a little bit of cloak and dagger around all of this, being unclear what all these layoffs are happening. Just kind of from your guys' perspective, is this kind of like the start of the downturn in tech? Are we heading for a bit of a crypto winter, a tech winter, or is this just kind of one-off? And follow-up, because I want to know, Yell, I'll actually start things off with you. Talk to me about AI in tech as a developer. What are your thoughts on that? Is that taking all of these people's jobs?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Good developers are not getting replaced by AI anytime soon. Because which is actually funny. Like the things that at least I've been reading online about it is that it's opening more jobs for better developers, because some people think they can just AI their way into an app or a thing, and then one error that they can't fix, or AI just like hallucinates a fix for, somebody will have to actually fix that. And so there's this new field of maintenance engineers. I don't know if that's the actual term, but like people who just like come in and be like, oh, okay, I can fix that for you for X amount of money. And, and so that's my stance of it. I do use AI every now and then at work too, on a day-to-day basis, especially if it's tedious. But otherwise, I still like writing code myself. And then going to the Amazon thing, I do think the market right now is just trash, like for tech in general. So many people, so many new graduates not getting job offers or even internship offers and all that. And from what I understood with Amazon, I think for the last 2 years, they've been trying to they've been gearing up to this kind of like, they've had an RTO, and people just found a way to subvert that by like clocking in and then going home and then come back in the afternoon and clocking out. And then they've added RFIDs or something, or they created a way to basically track people if they are actually in office or not. I forgot what the actual way they were doing it, but essentially I feel like, this has been a thing that they've been building up to. And so it's kind of like, I don't even know if this is the height of it, because I know like Microsoft earlier this year too, like let go a bunch of people too. So we're in a tech winter, but I will say, this is personal anecdote. Obviously,
that's what we're here for.
It's very different. These type of companies are kind of in a winter, but like crypto companies seem to be like popping up more and more as I get more emails and LinkedIn messages off
more
of it.
headhunters,
so
for sure.
So basically like, hey, we like your experience, it's like specifically for crypto. So yeah, it might just be a tech thing specific, but I will say Amazon has been building up to it.
Yeah, I agree. And like having worked with Amazon years ago in another life as a consultant, like you're right. They are very regimented in everything that they do, and everything is very intentional. It was really funny. So like at the time they were using Chime for their video conferencing. And when your meeting was over, it would just sign you off and sign you into your next meeting call. If you had like back-to-back meetings, like mid-sentence, I'd be like, hey, so can I just, and then they're gone. And in their next meeting, like mid-thought.
You're done.
You're done. Yeah. It's like, this is Amazon, the speed of Amazon Prime, 2-day delivery. But I agree with you. And I think that this is kind of something that I talk, because we talk about AI on this quite a bit. I don't see a lot of like AI in crypto. And so I feel like you're right. We're kind of seeing a pullback on these broader tech companies that may be overhired at the peak of like the AI fervor, or AI is taking those jobs. But that doesn't necessarily seem to be the case in crypto, which I like. I think that's really interesting to see. Like, Hale, you look pensive.
I was going to say, I don't think that this is the beginning of like the end, so to speak, because apparently, I mean, according to the article that I read, the amount of layoffs that Amazon has done this year in 2025, by the end of this year, like they're going to be around the same as the amount of layoffs they did in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know. That tells me that it's like they've been doing this, you know, and it's been happening. But like, I'm not very alarmed by it. You know what was crazy for me to read was that apparently Amazon tried to like call their workers back to the office, I think earlier this year. And now that they're doing all these layoffs, apparently the people who have been called back to the office but like don't sign in or don't show up or whatever, they're being told like, okay, you voluntarily quit and you get no severance package. See you later. Good luck. So that was like kind of crazy. That's for sure. Like,
it's a good reminder to remind everyone that HR is not your friend. HR is the friend of the company.
For real, dude. It is like corporate overlord vibes for sure. Another like kind of odd thing that I read was that they're looking to hire like 250,000 people in like late November, December for busy season.
Right.
So like I'm like, dude, why don't you just keep the people that you're firing right now?
Because what they're firing are all of the white collar workers. It's all of the
it's like different departments.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
They're hiring a bunch of people to run around the Amazon warehouses and throw that PlayStation 5 remote in a box to
that
ship
makes
to
sense.
Yell.
Yeah.
Because he has to beat Hades 2 now faster than I can. I still haven't beaten Hollow Knight 2 yet. Silksong even.
Get on that.
Dude, I know it's a problem.
Dude,
but
I've seen so much about that game. I've never tried it though.
I do think it's really engaging to see the narrative of like these white collar workers being replaced by AI, because that's kind of like a great use case. I think. Why do we need a CEO? You could just what are they doing? Just replace it with AI.
We need somebody to ruin our company and get a golden parachute. Why not? Why spend that money?
Exactly. They're not doing anything. But speaking of doing things, let's end where we started with the XRP community in shambles. Kidding. So Solana just partnered up with Western Union to launch a stablecoin on Solana. And so, this was kind of always the bread and butter of the XRP narrative, that they would be used for remittance, cross-cultural, cross-border payments, and that kind of thing. And so then this is kind of out of left field. I did a bit of digging on this, and it was interesting because it's not just like a one and done. This is all Western Union is doing. In fact, Solana paid them $25 million and then offered $25 million in liquidity to make this happen. And it's only for 6 months.
I was going to say it's only like a 6-month thing, right?
Yeah. And so, this is interesting because it's clearly the Solana Foundation, making waves, trying to push into this narrative of remittance, which has always kind of been a conversation in crypto, right? Coinbase did that for a number of years. That was like all their marketing, and it's kind of faded away. And so I kind of just wonder, is that concept just kind of a dated use case? Is no one actually using crypto for that? And then why would you need to use Western Union and their stablecoin to do that when I could just do that myself? I don't know. Talk to me about this, boys. Who wants to start us off?
That is an interesting thing to think about, because like you said, even Western Union themselves already do it, right? Like they remit money. So like what's the actual point of going into crypto? But I think partially, like you mentioned, they were handed money to basically, hey, do you want money to already do your job? It's like, yeah, I want money. So
who doesn't like money?
Yeah, exactly. And so
I mean, we saw this with MoneyGram as well. MoneyGram did the same thing.
Yeah, MoneyGram, I think PayPal as well. So it's like, it's kind of, I think they're just for me, in a business standpoint, I guess, they are just trying to compete with other people as well. Like our competitors in remittance are already there, might as well play their game too. And I know there's gonna be more to it, I think, from what I read, but yeah. But my only concern is like, why Solana, especially in remittance, because like not to trash Solana, but like they do have that reputation of like going down a lot. I mean, the last time they've gone down has been quite a while, but still, like
no, dude, it was like
them, so.
it was too soon. Like it was like just a few months ago. It's like Solana's insane. But I had that same thought. I was like, this is an interesting choice. Why Solana? Because dude, like if Solana goes down, what, like Western Union is just shit out of luck, like their chain is down.
Yeah.
Have fun with that, guys. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I don't think that the whole remittance narrative is dead yet. I think if anything, the tech probably just wasn't there, because just like how you were saying a few minutes ago, like Ethereum used to be expensive. So like I'm sure all of these companies wanted to come on chain earlier than 2025, but for regulatory reasons or for technical reasons, they probably couldn't. And now there's like lots of options. There's Solana, there's L2s, there's L3s, there's XRP. There's like lots of options on chain. So, and the regulatory clarity is happening. So, I think this is going to become more and more common. Like the big whales, like Western Union, who already are like the dominant money remittance people, like they'll make it happen, I'm sure. The one thing I hate about this though is USDPT. Just is like, it's too much. It's like, it's too long, too many letters, too many syllables. They all sound alike. And then BNB will drop one and they'll name it USDPT CZ. And then CZ will rug and they'll name it USDPT CZGG. And then it's like, we have to draw the line somewhere.
I like that you workshop this joke. Clearly you wrote this down. You're like, this is a good one. I like this.
Dude, I have it right here. USDPT CZGG. Because too many letters, dude.
Yeah, and that's also got to be so confusing because the core concept of remittance is people in other countries who may not speak English. English is their second language, and it's all just very confusing. Maybe it's worth struggling through the confusion if you're not getting hit with something like a 15% fee that Western Union charges for that kind of thing. But
I do wonder if they're just running it as a kind of a back end instead. So you pay them and then they send them, you drop the money, they send the transaction over at Solana. And then at the end point of it, they just hand the money to the people, but it's within their like thing. It's like a back end
interesting
internal thing,
I wouldn't doubt it.
Keep track of the money. But
I mean, that
I don't know
would make a lot more sense.
Yeah, because like for example, like you mentioned, it's through remittance is mainly like country to country, right? So if somebody who doesn't speak English is like, okay, now we need to explain to you how to access Solana. It's like, okay, and how do you even withdraw that and all that? So
and maybe that intermediary there is needed because like anecdotally, I know several people that send money to loved ones in other countries who work in crypto and just do it in fiat. They don't ever actually use crypto to send it, to their families.
But there are use cases for it to send that you can actually only send cryptos, like especially for like sanctioned countries, right? Like you can't send money from US to like I think Russia or whatever, or other countries that you can't send to, but so there is a use case for that, but
I just wonder. It would be interesting because I don't know how you would find out if people are actually using this for remittance. I wonder how you would even calculate and track that down.
Yeah,
maybe that's a project for a later.
You just
episode.
get a receipt of a transaction hash now, and you have to go home and withdraw your money that way.
Yeah. I don't know. But, at the end of the day, at least, XRP will maybe have their day again if they, can put something together after 6 months and see if they can do it better than what Solana's doing. So I just like to give them shit, but I think I do like to talk shit just because it gets them riled up and that makes me laugh.
Yeah, the XRP maxes are insane.
I know. What gets me riled up though? This podcast, especially when it ends, because that's where we are, gentlemen. Thank you for chatting with me today. Thank you for listening, dear listener. Make sure you leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter. Everyone's Twitter handles are in the links below. Make sure you drop us a message and say hi. Yell, for instance, loves it when people tell him he's handsome and strong. Thank you so much again for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.
See ya.